Hey guys, welcome back to Bearded Lumber. Matthew and I greatly appreciate you tuning in today. We're staying out here with our Weining molder planer. We've got some work to do today, and the goal of today's video is to show you how to switch this machine from S4S to tongue and groove, and we'll go through the whole process. Let's get through the introduction and we'll be right back. Okay guys, if you see behind me, you can see our nice new doors. Matthew and I worked hard on those this week. I planned a day, 12 hours in the building. Took 3. and working late. I didn't quit till after 7 o'clock last night, getting it cleaned up and everything. But they're up, it's warm in here. We got our heater running. It's what, mid-20s this morning? It's cold. So we're thankful to be warm, working in shirt sleeves. Let's talk about our Weining molder. It's currently set up to run S4S. If you don't know what that is, that's sanded 4 sides. You know, smooth 4 sides, top, bottom, left, right. We got this pile of white pine behind us we need to run. It's gonna be about 600 board or square feet when we get done. So we need to take this machine from its current configuration of S4S and transition it to tongue and groove V-groove. Now to do that, we don't have to change the front cutter, we don't have to change the top cutter, we don't have to change the back bottom cutter. We basically need to change the inboard and outboard side cutters. So what we're going to do this morning is take the safeties off. These loosened up. There's your first side cut. There's your second one. We got our 2 heads. Now, always be safety conscious. The machine is on. Now it's dead. It's still powered up, but nothing will happen. It's called an E-stop for a reason. Please use it. Now, to get these heads off, we got this wonderful tool. It's got an outer lock nut and an inner, like a lug wrench, and they can be a little aggravating, I'll be honest with you. Go ahead and raise the head up, Matthew. Now, this is called the feed beam, and it holds your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 feed rollers. It moves independent of the top head, or you can lock it together and you can pull the top head up with it. But we're just wanting to move it up enough to where I can get the wrench on there. And I know from personal experience, to unlock this, you need the lower handle in your left hand, the upper handle in your right hand, and push them together, and it will unlock it. We'll go over here and do the same thing to this one. There we go. They make a nice tool to do this with. Oh, but it's a $1,000 tool. We don't need it right now. We'll use the old hand model for now, won't we, Matthew? Yeah. Okay. Got that one loose. Okay, you have your lock nut, and then you have another nut or spacer that has locks in it to hold it. And then you got whatever spacers you needed to fill up the gap. And then off pops the head. I'm gonna set it right here for now.
Whenever you're messing with the heads, wear gloves.
Yes. I don't wear gloves doing the insert carbide because they're lighter and smaller. But these big heads are heavy and the knife is top to bottom and it will slice you open. Okay, there's our other head. Now what are these? These are 20-degree heads. They come in two styles, 20 and 12. 20-degree head has just a little different angle on the knife. It's best suited for softer woods. We use it for hardwoods, softwoods, doing S4S because it's just cutting the side off. We could run tongue and groove on it, but I can't run the insert carbide like we are over here, and I prefer those. So let's move over here to the workbench. We got to transition those knives. They're currently set up for tongue and groove nickel gap. We need to transition them over to tongue and groove B groove. So we'll be right back. Okay guys, we're over here at our Husky toolbox workstation. Got to have something to work on. We got our two heads off. Like I said, they're currently configured for tongue and groove nickel gap, and we need to transition them to our tongue and groove B groove. Now, we've already run these, so they're sitting here ready to go. Got to have a little organization for all your stuff. So there's the in and out for those. When we get these off, we'll put them back in the box. So to get these apart, you've got a backer Allen screw here. All that does is hold your backer in when you're installing it. Okay, then you got two 4mm screws that hold your gib in. Your gib is this steel plate right here. The gib locks in the carbide backer and the insert carbide and your carbide backer. Snug. Snug is the word. There we go. Okay. I think I got it. There we go. It's got a little pine rosin in it from all that. We run what, close to 4,000 board feet of tongue and groove nickel gap. So here's your gib. It has a groove. It's hard to see, but the carbide backer rides up against it. And here's your insert. They'll need cleaned up before we put them back in next time. Take the other one loose. And out it comes. Now, yeah, it stuck pretty good. These heads have a rotation. Now I've got a mark here. This is the outer head. It spins clockwise. This is the inner head, and it spins counterclockwise. You always want your knives facing back towards the start of the machine. They're cutting towards you, and the rollers are pushing the wood through the machine. So give us just a second. We're going to clean all this off, and we'll be back to reassemble this. Okay guys, we're back. Got it all cleaned up. I had a customer come by, so it's been a few minutes for us, but got our box here. These are our used tongue and groove nickel gap. So we're going to stick them in our box for next time. They got plenty of life left in them. Now, Matthew went through while I was talking to a customer, cleaned up all the old knives and the new knives, right? We used a little acetone. You can use whatever works best for you. But now, let's talk about reassembly. First off, you need to know which head's doing what. Now, I've already got these marked, in and out. So, we run the groove against the fence. So that should be your inside cutter. And we run the tongue on the outside, so that should be your outside cutter. Let's separate these into pairs. You got an insert and a backer. What I want to do, there we go. This insert has a screw hole that lines up with this. It also has a screw on the back as a stop. So when I slide this backer in, it stops. We'll take our little 2mm Allen screw, and that just positions the backer to hold it. There you go. These don't have to be overly tight. Learned that the hard way. Just snug. And we'll take our insert carbide. It lays up against the backer. It has a groove here that intersects with the gib, so it needs to be forward. And we'll take our gib screw, and it has a groove that aligns with it, just like that. And what we'll do, we'll lightly hold them against this stop with my finger. Take our 4mm Allen and gently tighten the gib up. Make sure it's square. Feels good. And then I'll lock it side down. Done. That side's inserted. I'll repeat the process on the other side and we'll move forward. This is why you need multiple heads. We want to purchase some more, just not today, because we'd already been up and running if we didn't have to switch these knives around. But you got to walk before you can run, people. Okay. Same thing. I'm just going to hold the insert carbide and the backer against my stop while I lightly tighten the gib up. There we go. Okay, this head is done with the exception of one thing. We need to change the radius number. So I'm gonna take that one off and we'll re-radius here. Let me get this one set up and we'll be right back. Okay guys, we got our nice little setup stand here to measure the radius on our installed knives. Now to use this, it has a setup point here that's already been calibrated. This is the half. This is the dead center of our radius. So you push your tool over, and you're gonna go here and zero it. Okay, and to verify that, pull it back, push it down, slide it over, 0.7495. That's close enough for our radius. Now, we'll install our cutting tool. Okay. Now, we'll check both sides of your knife because there'll be just very slight difference in it. Okay, so our radius is 2.81. And I'm gonna take and write that on the cutter head. 2.811. That is what we need to set the number into that machine. So let me push this out of the way. Grab our other head there, Matthew. Let's see. Now, we are measuring the outside radius on this one. This one is not nearly as important, and I'll show you why here in a minute. Okay, right somewhere in the middle. There we go. Okay, this one is 2.464. 2.464. And we won't use this number near as much as we'll use this one. And we'll go over why when we get back over here to the machine. So turn this off and put our setup stand back up out of the way. Okay guys, I cleaned the mating surface here just to make sure there wasn't any foreign debris. We're going to insert our inside head, and then you need to properly set the spacers. That's why you keep a whole box of them. Let's see here. What? These little short heads require a lot more spacers. Okay. When you put this last one on, you don't want to go below the threads. See, it's close. I'm going to change that one out for a 10 millimeter. We'll put our lock in, and then
you put the shortest one on the bottom.
And that gives us good thread engagement. Now, for best practices, they recommend to put the smallest ones on the bottom.
Didn't pull them all out.
Oh, missed one.
Less chance of it slipping.
Less chance of it slipping and moving that way. That's what Weining recommends, and we agree with them. So, that head is installed. Now it needs torqued. Put our tool on here. Okay, that one is tight. Now, the last thing we want to do is we want to take this number, 2.81, and we want to add it in to our measurement here. This one. Matthew's going to make a change. 2.811. Lock it down. That head is set. Now we want to check, make sure we're not interfering with our outboard chip breaker. And we're not. These heads don't have big wings on them, but this is why we like running Weining cutter heads and Weining knives. With that number, we are set out the appropriate distance from our inboard fence to cut the tongue or the groove into our tongue and groove. And this is what we're trying to cut. This is this piece here. So, okay, let me get it set up. We're going to do it on the outside. Okay, guys, real world. We had to go back and remeasure this inside knife because I measured it the wrong place. I measured out here where I should have been measuring at the deepest point. So that changed our number to 2.466. Matthew got it set in there now. And that sets right where it's supposed to. Now, our outboard head, very simple. We drop it in. We're going to put our spacers on. And instead of putting in a number, I have a 4-inch spacer gauge. And we'll pull this in until this contacts our 4-inch gauge. We'll reset out here to 4, and that will get us within a thousandths or two. We'll run aboard and readjust it. So that's how you transition it from S4S to tongue and groove V-groove with a minimum setup. We don't have to change our thickness. It was already set at 3/4 inch. So we're going to tighten this up and get ready to run aboard. We'll come back and look at our first board. We'll take our digital calipers, check for thickness and for width, and make an adjustment as needed. Run another, and hopefully with that second board, we should be ready to run them all. So give us just a minute. We'll be right back. Okay guys, that's it. We run 3 boards. Basically 2 is all we needed, but I went ahead and run a third one to confirm it. Based on this first board, we thinned it down just a little bit. We were a little thick, and we narrowed it up. We were just a little bit wide. The second board was right where we wanted to be. Went ahead and run the third board, confirmed it. So we're exactly 8 inches wide, 3/4, 0.752 thick. You'll never see it on tape measure. And I'm happy. Tongue looks good, groove looks good. I made one slight adjustment on the in-feed cutter. I actually took off less so it would have a little more to take off the top. So that's it. That's how you transition a Weining motor planer from what was set up to S4S to tongue and groove. It's perfect. I can't ask for no better. Anything to add on that, Matthew? There's a lot here, guys. There's a lot of background set up, a lot of knowledge going on to just do a quick change, but we'll try to cover in more detail as we do more. Like I say, there's a lot here. You got any questions, drop in the comment section. I'll be glad to try to answer them. Also had a long-time viewer message me yesterday that he wasn't getting notifications, that I'd answered his questions. And then he messaged me back, and he had to change some settings in his YouTube account. He had notifications turned off. If he didn't go look for them, they wouldn't show up. So if you're not getting notifications that I answered your comment, dive into your YouTube account and make sure that you do have notifications turned on, so that when we post a video, you'll get a notification that there's new video out. As well, when I respond, you'll get a notification that I did respond, because I do answer all comments. Some of them, I will admit, are very short. They may be just a thank you, but we appreciate every comment, appreciate every viewer. Big shout out to Matthew and Solomon doing our videos. If you get a chance, check out Solomon's channel, Third Beard Fishing. That's gonna do it for today, guys. I hope you're having a wonderful day. We'll see you back at the mill.
Thank you for watching. Here's a video selection and a playlist suggestion. Click here to subscribe for more great content. We'll see you at the mill.